stay-at-home open mic. My name is Richie Marufo, and I'm your host. We're coming to you from El Paso, Texas. Of course, since this is online, anyone from around the globe is welcome to join us. And right now, we're live on YouTube. So if you guys are joining us as this is happening live, that's really cool. It's cool to be able to have an audience, especially when we can't do this in a venue, particularly at this moment. And couple of things. We have as always, an eclectic show. We have poets, we have musicians, we have comedians, and the whole point is to support what people are doing, and even before this, I said in times of destruction, it's good to create. Maybe that's just kind of feels a little hollow now that I'm saying this out loud, considering everything that's been going on in the world. But it is important to, be able to express yourself. And we're here today. Everyone's gonna have their art, something to share. And we are part of the Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. We are, as I like to say, a community classic. We've been around since 2007, providing a platform, a stage for artists, all sorts of artists in our region. People from El Paso, people who have moved here and needed a place to vent, to express themselves, and even as the name of the city indicates, people just passing through. Right, it happens. We have a great show, as I mentioned. A couple things today. If you guys are on the chat with us on the live stream, please do a little roll call. Let us know that you're here with us. Say hi. We do have the live stream chat. I'm monitoring it, so if you guys have any questions or if have any things you want to say, I'll kind of read them throughout the show in between performances. And as you listen, one of the most important things, this is a community thing. So as people are performing, listen for their projects. If they mention their Instagram page, go and follow them. It's always good to have supporters, and that's why this is here, so we can support. And so go out, check it out, follow their music pages. If they have a new album out, see if you can download it. Also, I've been trying to do this online tip jar thing. So, I've encouraged performers to maybe leave if they have, like, for example, Shameless. I have my stuff right here on the side. I haven't been able to, in this pandemic, I had a bunch of open mics and, I got paid through them. So I've kind of been missing that income a little bit. Anything helps. That's there. But for now, we're going to go and get the show started. We do have some new peeps. We have a bunch of returning peeps. And of course, if you guys are listening and you want to be part of this, please, we welcome you. We welcome everyone. Come on through. No experience necessary, right? You don't have to be an expert. If you've never done it before, but are curious about sharing one of your poems, you'll see it's not too bad. We've definitely had people in the past do their first open mic through this stay-at-home open mic. It's kind of nice. After you're done, you're home. And also the thing, it's not as bad for drinking and driving. You know what I'm saying? You can drink a little bit from home and then you log off, you're home. Boom. All right. So, Luis, we did have some people drop out. That happens for a live open mic. So our first performer today comes to us from Lower Valley, El Paso. It's his first time with us. Let's see if he's still with us. Gabriel Hernandez, how you doing, man? You here with us? I know he was doing his staging. He was getting his lights set up.
Okay,
That's the other thing. There you are. Cool. So let's go ahead. Welcome, Gabriel. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Well, kind of nervous, but very well. Very happy.
Hold on. Check out your mic. It's not getting any sound.
Can you hear me? No.
We can't hear you. Maybe try muting, unmuting. Sometimes that's the other thing. Technology. We're doing it live.
Sorry,
things happen.
Nothing.
Thank you guys already for your patience. Gabriel. Yeah, we're not getting any sound from you right now.
Okay,
I don't know if I'm going crazy. Can you guys hear?
I can hear him all right, Richie.
No?
Loud and clear.
Or you guys can hear him?
Yeah, we can.
Wait. Oh, you can hear him? Okay, maybe my headphones died. That could be an option. Hold on. I'm going to switch out my headphones. Gabriel, go and take it away.
All right. So this is the first one I've ever done. So here you go, guys. It's called The Episode. It stars. I think you're having an episode, man. Just get out of your head and unload the gun that's under your bed. And don't forget to masturbate. Now I speak the voices that are in my head. Are they my own or does someone put them there? I think I'm crazy, man. Ha ha ha. LOL. LMAO. Something like that. The episode goes. Suddenly I'm lost in a world of my own. The voices are there, but they're too many to count. Softly, the story suddenly goes on. No beginning, no end. The story's just there. And suddenly, for a second, I try to escape, only to be dragged back in. Ha ha ha, I think I'm insane. Ha ha ha, LOL, ha ha ha, LMAO. And I'm at the party again, but there's no air. How can I breathe? The crutcher's on. Go, go, go. It's all in your head. And it's all in your head. Sorry, guys. It's all in your head. Just breathe in and let it all go. And I begin to come down, only to be dragged back down. I think I'm going insane, but that's okay, cause I'm having fun. There's 3 ha-has and 1 LOL. Now all I see is red, the musical note then rings in my mind, and I begin to laugh, ha ha ha. That's pretty crazy, man. All I see again is only red. Hello again, my good old friend. When will you let go so I can be free and go to the store to get a Slurpee? See how that rhymes? Maybe I'm still insane. 1 LOL, 1 ha. Let's take them all down until there's no more and nobody laughs. What a sad day, but that's how it goes when you're having an episode, man. So just make it okay. Just give in and let it all go. So I close my eyes and I log back in. I take a deep breath and I'm already there. Hello, old friend. I think I'm insane. You guys got it? No?
Yeah, right, man. Awesome. And I got my sound about halfway through. Apparently my headphones did die. One of the disadvantage, I guess, of wireless mics, wireless headphones. Cool, man. So I missed the intro to that. That's an original piece. Where is that? Were you freestyling there?
No, I wrote it down and I just been working on it with a guitar and stuff like that. So just I don't know.
Cool, man. Have you ever done an open mic before?
No, this will be my first time. Or this wasn't.
Oh, yeah, right on, man. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Was that it? Did you have anything else or?
I have a short one that I still haven't finished. I don't know if you guys want to hear it.
Work in progress.
It's something that I wrote after I saw the George Floyd thing, and it kind of really got to me. So, like, I wrote this and I still haven't finished it, but I can see if it works, if it's okay. Okay, so this is called I Can't Breathe or Mama. I don't know. I still haven't named it. So basically, it's just I can't breathe, mama. I can't breathe, mama. They're taking me to you. With my hands on my back and my face on the floor, I feel the weight of their anger, the weight of their suffering, leading me to you. I'm nothing but a man, but a son, but a brother, but a father, but a friend, but a lover, but a man just like you. Walking and talking, laughing and crying, breathing and praying, facing this life just like us. That's what I have.
Right on, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Gabriel, thanks for joining us. You took the leap. You're part of our celebrated history now, especially for our stay-at-home open mic series, which stay-at-home open mic presented by Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. Right on, man. We're gonna go ahead and just jump right back into some music. Thank you, Gabe. We're gonna go ahead and bring up Adrian Bautista. He is originally from El Paso, has some cool songs written about El Paso. Right now he's stationed in stationed. you're in Las Cruces. Guys, let's go and make some noise for Adrian.
Hey, everyone.
All right, Adrian, how are you, man?
Dan the man.
How you doing? Great to see you.
Yeah,
All right.
dude. I am nervous tonight. That poem that he just read, that Gabriel just read, or the song, it's very touching. I mean, I got really choked up. It takes a lot of courage to write about what's happening right now. So this next song is this first song that I'm gonna do for you is an original song. I wrote it. I finished the lyrics up yesterday morning. So I hope you like it. I look through the letters that I've written. I don't recognize the guy you say wrote them. It's funny that you get them. I wish that it was me. Nothing's quite right, but you recognize me. Sometimes I need a friend who remembers who I am. Every now and then I get lost and I'm trying to get ahead. Don't want to lose myself in bullshit conversation. That's when you come to me and remind me that I'm me, and I say, ooh, yeah, ooh, there I am. I cleaned up the boxes, I looked through my papers. It seems like I'm living the alternate ending. It's sunny outside, but it's raining within me. I guess at this point, I've stopped believing. Sometimes I need a friend who remembers who I am. Every now and then I get lost and I'm trying to get ahead. Don't want to lose myself in bullshit conversations. That's when you come to me and remind me that I'm me. And I say, ooh, there I am. I guess I wasn't ready to let go, so I had to look. I had to sort back through the thoughts I used to have before. I guess I'm just trying to find a place where I belong. Just needed to make sure that I'm not that person anymore. Yeah. Sometimes I need a friend who remembers who I am. Every now and then I get lost and I'm trying to get ahead. Don't want to lose myself in bullshit conversations. That's when you come to me and remind me that I'm me, and I say, ooh, there I am.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Super nervous tonight, man. I haven't done this in a while, so thank you again for that. This next song's called "Till I've Had Enough," and again, I'm given everything that's happened. Like I've been experimenting with different chord progressions, so it may sound a little funky, but I definitely want your feedback. So, like Richie was saying, if you can, throw me some comments in the box. Look me up on Instagram, send me a DM. I'd love to hear your feedback on this song. It's a newer song. Played it for some friends. We were having drinks last night, and we'll see, right? I definitely want to hear what you have to say. So this is a song called "Till I've Had Enough." I spent the last 10 years in obscurity, gathering the pieces of what's left to me. I won't live in my life for what I know is true. You won't believe all the shit that I've been through. Now I wanna be alright. I wanna live my life. Don't wanna stop till I've had enough. And I know I'm gonna be okay, no matter what you say. Don't wanna stop till I've had enough. Ooh, no. Ooh, ooh. Now I'm stepping out and trusting that it's cool. I didn't leave what happened, but it's cool. Now I'm finding my identity. You never really knew me. I leave my profile just for you. I wanna be alright. I wanna live my life. Don't wanna stop till I've had enough. I know you're gonna be okay, no matter what you say. Don't wanna stop till I've had enough. I wanna be alright. I wanna live my life. Don't wanna stop till I've had enough. I know I'm gonna be okay, no matter what you say. Don't wanna stop till I've had enough. Well, as I look back on it, pictures fade, but the memories stay. Things changing all around us. People will come and people will go. To go our separate ways. Our separate ways. Stop till I've had enough, and I know I'm gonna be okay, no matter what you say. Don't wanna stop till I've had enough. Ooh. Thank you guys. So that's till I've had enough. And again, I'm trying to break the traditional music theory stuff, utilizing specific chord patterns that have to resolve to a certain number, and then trying to get it to sound, play off of some different chords and stuff. But Richie mentioned that I am from El Paso, and I love El Paso. Miss it a lot. I know that there's a lot of things going on again with the pandemic in El Paso and the cases and such. But I'm going to sing you all a song that I wrote about the neighborhood that I grew up in El Paso. It's called Mesa en Castellano. It's on the west side, and it's some of my favorite memories as a kid growing up. The apartments in that area, and my cousins, and just good times. I just want to remember those good times. So this is a song about going back to that place. Well, I've been put in conversation. I'm afraid of what I might say. Wondering if you're gonna look at me a different way. I'm feeling all the things I hate within me. I'm trying to make it, don't wanna forget. So take me to the place that I call. I don't wanna forget where I come from. sometimes. I don't want to be now. Help me find my way back home. Oh, oh, ooh, ooh, oh. I drive down the streets to places that I used to be. Want to live from off holding on to memories. Hoping that I'll look back and maybe I'll see all of the wisdom that I need to fulfill it. So take me to the place that I call home. I don't want to forget where I come from. The stress of life can weigh me down sometimes. I don't want to be here now. Help me find my way, yeah. Oh, oh, is this place a real place? The place that I call home. Am I chasing something I'm never gonna find? I miss the moment passed me by. I guess life's a vapor, vanishes in the wind. So take me to the place that I call home. I don't want to forget where I come from. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The stress of love can weigh me down sometimes. I don't want to be here now. Help me find my way. Yeah. Oh, oh. Thank you.
It's awesome, man. Woo.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. Richie, can I do one more? Or
Yes, please do one more.
Okay. I'll end on. This song's called My Coffee Song, and it's about the things you should tell yourself in the morning, your self-talk. Wake up, happy, ready to dream out loud. Wake up, I'm ready, trying to embrace the now. Trying to enjoy the journey as I'm walking down, hoping that today I'll find my way to you. Wake up, I'm anxious, feeling the weight of it all. Wake up, I'm nervous, remember to just stay calm. This is my coffee song, I'll sing it in the morning. Know that everything's gonna be alright. This is my coffee song, I'll sing it in the morning. I know that everything's gonna be alright. Wake up, I shake off all my anxieties. Wake up, look in the mirror. I know that everything's gonna be alright. Try to enjoy this praying that today I'll find my way to you. Wake up, I'm anxious, feeling the weight of it all. Wake up, I'm nervous, remember to just stay calm. This is my coffee song, I sing it in the morning. I know that everything's gonna be alright. This is my coffee song, I sing it in the morning. I know that everything's gonna be alright. I wake up and I shake off all the anxiety. I wake up, look in the mirror. I know that everything's gonna be alright. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my music. Appreciate you guys. You can find me on Instagram at Adrian Music, Muzik. I'm also on SoundCloud. Just put out an EP back in January, and you can stream my music for free there.
Hell yeah, man. And it's great music. I've personally enjoyed when you have made it out, when you were making it out to our open mics. I know you went to Fahrenheit 180 a couple times. That was a really cool, chilled venue.
Oh yeah, I miss those charcoal lattes, man. I'm not really into that fancy coffee, bro, but those are tasty.
Yeah, you know, I'll admit, same here. I'm very basic. I'll always just drink black coffee. That's kind of my thing. But they got me into it a little bit too. I'll admit. Yeah, definitely.
Venue, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and also really quick before you leave, I'm kind of curious since you do open mics as well. You know, I know we're still, you know, as far as BWOMs go, we're still cautious of the pandemic in terms of, you know, we still see numbers rising, but I know now that bars are opening up here, people are getting really anxious to want to get back to live events. I don't know how it is over there in Las Cruces, you know, in terms
Yeah,
of that climate.
we are not given the go ahead. Our governor has been pretty strategic about what businesses open and at what percentages. So we have not seen a return of the open mics. Though when we talk to one another, we definitely are missing our community. And if you've ever been to open mics, as many of you who have been to open mics know how big it is to be able to see each other, share your creativity in person. There's just something special about connecting and being vulnerable in that sense, in that setting. And it's really neat that you're doing these virtual open mics because we don't get that opportunity in Las Cruces, at least for the foreseeable future. It might be at least a couple months before we see those come back, based on what we've seen.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that input, and also I appreciate it. It's same here. I don't foresee it happening for a while. Unfortunately, though, I think our governor is very gung ho about getting things open, and there are limitations, but I already know people are going to start promoting live open mics, and yes, that is good. You can't. The live audience is great. It's nice to have that, but I still think we have to take caution. So we're gonna have these open. So kind of going, we're gonna have these online open mics still for a good while, because I know it's not for everyone to get out just yet. Because we do have to, keep in mind all our people, and yeah, it's good. It's good to know. I don't know.
Yeah, I still got nervous though in front of y'all. I mean, I'm in front of my computer, but I mean, I don't know. I still get the rush seeing you guys, and thank you for doing this. I'm going to continue to participate as much as possible. I love it. Being able to attend these kind of put some pressure on me to get, my creativity going. And so I think it's a great thing. Awesome thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Once again, I hope to see you in future shows. Yeah, I love your music, and we'll promote that. So we're gonna go ahead and yeah. Thanks once again, Adrian. I do want to give a shout out really quick too before we continue to our live stream chat. Thank you for joining us on YouTube, and also thanks to those of you who have shared the link. I've seen a couple people share them on Facebook already. But I want to give a shout out to people who are on our chat right now who've been leaving messages. We have Nico Silva. As always, Sandy Torres. She's a great supporter. I really appreciate that. She listens to everyone and leaves thoughtful comments. I know for Adrian, She mentioned that she kept getting lost between your voice and those lyrics. So it's always cool. Yeah, I get lost too. Same here. Sandy, also shout out to Manuel Gutierrez from Las Cruces. See who else is on the chat. Yeah, so if you guys are watching right now in the chat, let us know that you're here with us. Give shout out to the support to the performers, and yeah, support Adrian. Check out his Instagram, Adrian Music. That's music with a K at the end, and that SoundCloud. We're gonna go ahead and keep it going, guys. So we're gonna go and switch it up and get some comedy. We don't get too much comedy up in here. So Sharita is in the house. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Richie. How you guys doing?
I'm okay. Now that I'm here and listening to you guys, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I was up in here. I was like dancing with Adrian, and I was like, "Wait a minute, it's not a rock concert. Calm down." And then and my daughter's over here. She's like, "Oh, why don't you know how to play guitar like that?" Because I'm not a musician. Kids always want to put so much pressure on you to do extra stuff. I'm like, no, it's cool. And then I'm a mom, so I don't have a special talent. Being a mom, I'm talentless. You know why? Because I like to think that I passed all my talents off to my kids. It shows in their grades. They get A's and B's, and I don't know what the other one gets. He's 16. I think he gets in trouble. I don't know. I'm hoping he doesn't get late. He's 16. So I have twins, right? They're special needs twins. So they're deaf and they speak sign language, ASL. So a lot of the times I'm talking with my hands and I forget that I'm also from New York. So when I come with it, I come loud. I'm in the face. I'm over it. I'm excited. I'm like, oh my gosh. So one day I'm sitting there doing the sign language and one of my twins, he's acting up. I'm trying to discipline him. I'm telling him, stop. I got to work and all this kind of things, right? So my 16-year-old, I didn't teach him sign language. So he walks in, he was like, oh, we're throwing up gang signs for Black Lives Matter. And I'm just like, no, that's not what we're doing. I'm just teaching him sign language. And my son was like, no, you got to go out in the streets and you got to raise them up. And I was like, your Mexican is showing, Papi. It's not that strong. Stop it. So yeah, and then my twin, he's over there like, is she talking to us? So when you're disciplining twins, the first thing he does, he goes like this. You can't see me. I said, I'm not playing peekaboo with you. He was like, and all I'm telling him to do is pick up after himself. Twins. So yeah, so when you see me talking on my hands, I'm like, yeah, get it. But yeah, I'm over this quarantine. I need to get out the house. I can't drink in the house because one kid thinks I'm a lush. And I was like, so, see, she over here monitoring me. She's like, oh, you're doing a mic? What's a mic? And I was like, oh, you go out and you do like comedy or you sing a song like Adrian did, or you do some poetry. And she goes, oh, you know poetry, Mom? I was like, yeah, check this out. I was like, roses are red, violets are blue. You didn't clean up yet. Go to bed. That's my poetry. Kids. Who needs them, right? That's her. And I was like, yes, I was so happy. Like, if y'all didn't get your stimulus checks, let me know so I could let you borrow a kid. $500 a kid. So my 16-year-old was like, oh, we got our stimulus checks. We're getting a PS5, right, Mom? When you say we, do you mean me? I want the PS5. You don't get a PS5. But now that they delayed the PS5, so all us people that like to play video games, we really stuck in the house bored. But that's my time, guys. I just wanted to do a little bit, try a new set out. Thank you for listening. Yeah. I know. I'm not trying to get connected
today. Awesome. Thank you, Sharita.
Thanks, Richie.
I know you've been doing a lot of online mics too, though. That's pretty cool. How's that been?
That's amazing. It's like, I love it because it's networking, because you have a lot of comics right now. They're like, they're against the whole online mic because it's for free. And I'm like, yeah, that's why it's called online mic. Open mics were free too. So it's like, at least practice your jokes, network, meet other people, and support. That's all you can do right now. And then it's also a lot of us that suffer from depression, anxiety. Why not? It's something different. I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying being here with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for sharing that. I have seen that criticism as well from some comics, and
yes,
You know, you bring up good points though. Like sometimes it's not about what you initially, you know, maybe you do want to make money. You know, obviously it's your
Yeah.
trade, but networking is a really great thing. You know, like with these online open mics, you can connect with people all across the country and
Oh
world.
yes.
And
I
you know,
did a
of course,
mic in London, dude. That was awesome.
that's
The only one,
cool.
the only one without an English accent. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk that.
No, thanks for joining us. And these are good points. You know, I appreciate that perspective. And then probably the most important thing, of course, is, you know, being able to connect with people, especially in isolation. It can be lonely, you know, and so we miss that part.
Yeah.
Definitely. I miss being able to go out and just hang out, go to bars. So much love, Sharita. I'm glad that also you're able to have your daughter there in the room. That's cool. You can't really do that. You can take her to a bar and stuff to see you
Right?
perform. So
Yeah. I really had to do a clean set. Thanks, guys.
awesome. Awesome. Enjoy your night. And then of course, thank you guys for joining us on the stream. Shout out to Patty O. I see you there. Thanks for joining us. Maybe one day you will join us to perform, but I won't belabor that as much. We're gonna go ahead and keep going. In fact, so we had Agabar next. Agabar is a comic out of Austin, but he's not in the chat anymore. I'm concerned. So hopefully he's trying to find his way back. And I know Sharita, you're connect with them. So I don't know if you can reach out to him and see if we can get him back on the chat. It seemed like he might have been having some technical difficulties earlier. So
Yeah, he couldn't connect on this audio.
okay. So maybe we can try. Again, live technology, things happen. So we'll just go ahead and if he comes back, we'll get him on, of course. But let's go ahead and switch it up back into some poetry. We have one of our heavy hitters, one of the biggest supporters, and also one of the biggest defenders of the open mic. From promoting to, I think, calling people out when they need to be called out. Our next performer does that all. And he also, of course, is the cover poet. You know, he makes it okay to realize, hey, if you have work that you really love and respect from someone, share it too. Musicians do it all the time. So with that said, let's go and welcome Kit Wren to our online stage. Kit, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Richie. I'm doing very well. I got my favorite shirt on that I have to wear backwards, but it says wrestling is real, borders are fake. Just so y'all know where I stand. But yeah, gonna do 4 of my own and then the cover poem, as tradition dictates. This one's relatively new. I had just written it on a live stage right before there were no more live stages. It went over well, so I'll try and keep that momentum going. Meaning is not a constant. We pretend that it is, for the sake of economic stability and other intimidating fictions. But we're all adults here. We know how many words and phrases mean their opposite in application. Everyone in this room would classify fuck you as an insult, but it is a phrase I deal out exclusively to friends. It is a privilege for me to tell you fuck you. It means that I trust you. Bow your head and receive it like a congressional medal. I trust you the way that circus acrobats reach out for each other, the way that professional wrestlers protect one another. Performative is not a synonym for fake. It means you're doing it. We're doing it. We retain control by yielding. We eat well when we leave a place for the prophet Elijah. We talk roughly with our friends and we speak with an alien grace to the people that we hope get hit by a meteor. Perhaps this confuses you. Very well. You will not die of confusion. In my experience, understanding is much more fraught. They say that if you meet the Buddha on the street, you must kill him. Let me never understand. Let me always walk softly on a pudding skin of liminal confusion. A word that means one thing has been discarded. A person with one name has been buried. A language without ambiguity is dead. Your contradictions are your receipt for living. Living, which is another word for the pause in between two heartbeats. Yeah. Yeah, that one's cool. That one's cool. That one's heavy. This one is also cool, but it's nice and light. A friend once told me that she was exchanging stories about me with another friend when they started making out. It is nice to know that I can bring people together, but which stories? Was it me screaming at a trust fund anarchist in her defense? Was it him convincing people at a party that I can levitate? I need more editorial control over the stories about me. They are a stand-in for me, and I cannot tolerate a corruption in the carbon. A new false kit would arise. I'm a man of integrity. I would be as quick to censor the lionizing as the malicious. I just want the truth to reign. I wouldn't want you to kiss the wrong person for the wrong reason, not even if it was me. I keep reaching for the beer I haven't opened yet and forgetting where my open one is. I don't know, I got a lot of problems in my life. All right, this one is some new shit.
You got to say new shit.
New shit.
There we go. Thank you, Dan. All right. This is kind of in the style of like the Mars City Rovers and other ones like that, kind of a prose poem with a weird supernatural thing going on. Anyway. The witness before the financial committee is not being helpful, but not in the typical way of an unhelpful witness. He is crying in big, gasping breaths, his shoulders rolling like a boxer's. He is apologizing. He doesn't understand the questions. Yes, that is his name on records. Yes, he is the CEO of record of Fast Loan, but that was, he pleads, not his understanding. He's just a voice actor who went to a sketchy audition listed online and was so thankful that it wasn't a sex trap that he forgot that there are other kinds of traps. The contract was long, but the money and the perks were overwhelming. Nice enough to preclude follow-up questions. He's sorry. He keeps saying that like it helps. There's snot all over the microphone, on the desk, dripping and spreading slowly and endlessly. This was supposed to be a dry session to do with interest rate caps, something only a calculator could love. But now the committee is forced to consider questions concerning the nature of identity and reality itself. Some of them are no longer sure if they're congressmen. The chairman stealthily pulls out his driver's license and traces his finger across the letters of his name, mouthing along as though it is test material that he has not quite mastered. Okay, and the last one of me, before the cover poem, is like I said, I don't usually get political because I don't feel like I'm up to the moment, but you know, this is almost up to the moment. I don't know. I should stop trying to justify myself and just say them and just wait for someone else to, whatever, it's too late now. I am what God made me. I want to talk about the things that don't matter as if they do. I want the only raised voices to be joyous. I want no unspoken tension. I want all negative emotions to be a playful ritual act. They can't be killed entirely, but they can be declawed, made subservient to a higher, kinder force. I want all tears to be performative and all smiles to be genuine. I want our differences to be topics of interest instead of means of control. I want every great work to be without an author. I will not ask anyone to forgive unilaterally, but I want everyone who seeks forgiveness to find it. I want their apologies to not be boilerplate or rehearsed, but spontaneous, and if possible, totally wordless. I want the nonpartisan roar of a football crowd that just saw what they cannot describe and don't care which team scores anymore. Their cheers will join as a white noise that never fades or resolves into signal until amazement is the only thing we can feel, until thank you is the only thing we can say. And now, last one, then I'm out of y'all's hair, the vaunted cover poem. This week I chose Waiting for the Barbarians by C.P. Cavafy. This is the translation done by Edmund Keeley. There's slight differences in the other ones, but this is the best one. What are we waiting for assembled in the forum? The barbarians are due today. Why isn't anything going on in the Senate? Why are the senators sitting there without legislating? Because the barbarians are coming today. What's the point of senators making laws now? Once the barbarians are here, they'll do the legislating. Why did our emperor get up so early? And why is he sitting enthroned at the city's main gate in state, wearing the crown? Because the barbarians are coming today, and the emperor's waiting to receive their leader. He's even got a scroll to give him, loaded with titles, with imposing names. Why have our two consuls and praetors come out today wearing their scarlet togas? Why have they put on bracelets with so many amethysts, rings sparkling with magnificent emeralds? Why are they carrying elegant canes, beautifully worked in silver and gold? Because the barbarians are coming today. And things like that dazzle the barbarians. Why don't our distinguished orators turn up as usual to make their speeches, say what they have to say? Because the barbarians are coming today, and they're bored by rhetoric and public speaking. Why this sudden bewilderment, this confusion? How serious people's faces have become. Why are the streets and squares emptying so rapidly? Everyone going home, lost in thought. Because night has fallen and the barbarians haven't come. Some of our men just in from the border say there are no barbarians any longer. Now, what's going to happen to us without barbarians? Those people were a kind of solution. Thank y'all very much.
Yeah, right on, man. Thank you, Kit, as always. Glad you're coming at us strong always. Okay. Whoops. Okay. So sorry, I'm trying to get some stuff going here. I'm trying to send out a link. So while we were performing, I want to give a shout out. We had a comment on the live chat. Dead Tree Comics, awesome. Check them out if you have a chance. By the way, we had Ray Ramos, who is I would describe as one of our powerhouses. You know, he was really instrumental to I think the poetry scene in El Paso. He co-founded Frontera Poetry Slam. He was known as the unplugged poet or acoustic poet because I think of many things. I remember him never really wanting to use a mic because he never needed it. He was just loud enough to perform in a room without one. And so I'm trying to get him a link, see if maybe he can share a little something on his break. But while I do that, we're going to continue on with another great powerhouse poet, someone who's always a writer who we're always grateful to have on. She read last week a little bit from her book Flow, and I think today when she signed up today, I think she mentioned that she was published once in the Paris Review, which is really, really like good to have one time, but that's more than most. So let's go ahead and welcome Robin Schofield to our stage.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to do 2 cover poems, and I'm going to, at the risk of making myself look bad, I'm going to start with the cover poems. This one is by a friend of mine, Liskin Van Pelt Deuce, and she's a very good poet, lives in Massachusetts. And she just showed me this poem, and it has to do with our present situation, I think. Confession. It has taken me a weary time to learn to listen. The temptation to hide, a bird I have fed all my life. This bloodshot age, a blunt cudgel. My body erodes around the ridged veins forking into the backs of my hands and the undersides of my wrists. Still, I have been insufficiently haunted. From the mouths of the dead comes their names, but no sound. If I turn away, I can claim not to know, but this deception is no longer invisible. Whatever it was they have wanted to say, I am listening now, and I'm sorry this has not always been the case. Some of the ghosts are still willing to love me and slide my arms into their battered sleeves. Yeah, she's very good. She just wrote that. I admire people so much who can write about these things in the moment. As Mark Doty did several years ago, he wrote a poem called In 2 Seconds. It's about Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old in Cleveland. Climb back down the tunnel of its becoming, a charcoal sunflower swallowing itself. Who has eyes to see or ears to hear? If you could see what happens fastest, unmaking the human irreplaceable, a star falling into complete gravitational darkness from all points of itself, all this, the held, loved body into which entered milk and music, honeying the cells of him, who sang to him, stroked the nap of the scalp, kissed the flesh knot after the cord completed its work of fueling him into the long history of those whose suffering was made more bearable by the as yet unknown of him, playing alone in some unthinkable future city, a Cleveland, whatever that might be. 2 seconds to elapse, the arc of joy in the conception bed, the labor of hands repeated until the hands no longer required attention, so that as the woman folded, her hopes for him sank into the fabric of his shirts and underpants. Down they go, swirling down into the maw of a greater dark, treasure box, comic books, pocket knife, bell from the collar of a lost cat. Why even begin to enumerate them when behind every tributary poured into him comes rushing backward all he hasn't been yet. Everything that boy could have thought or made, sung or theorized, built on the quavering but continuous structure that had preceded him, sank into an absence in the shape of a boy playing with a plastic gun in a city park in Ohio. In the middle of the afternoon. Oh, excuse me. When I say 2 seconds, I don't mean the time it took him to die. I mean the lapse between the instant the cruiser braked to a halt on the grass, between that moment and the one in which the officer fired his weapon. the 2 seconds taken to assess the situation. I believe it is part of the work of poetry to try on at least the moment and skin of another. For this hour, I respectfully decline. I refuse it. May that officer be visited every night of his life by an enormity collapsing in front of him into an incomprehensible gloom and the voice that howls out of it. If this is no poem, then, but that voice, erased boy, beloved of time, who did nothing to no one and became nothing because of it, I know that voice is one of the things we call poetry. It isn't only to his killer he's speaking. Wow, my voice seems to have gone away. Enlightenment blues. This is kind of new, but kind of old. Love song, the Tibetan monk says, live in the now, it's nirvana, a candle going out. My mother at 88 does live in the now, but far from enlightenment, impatient that no time passes. Physicists have made equations for time that move backward and forward, but the arrow only goes forward, as we can see for ourselves. The broken cup doesn't rearrange itself and jump back on the table. My mother doesn't retain her arrow of time. She fictionalizes yesterday because she cannot remember her past. She remembers to drink scotch and to cheat on the crosswords. Her addictions have the sense of history that she presently lacks. When I meditate to an ancient dialect, I feel time disappear for 20 minutes. Her life has tumbled together until she thinks she is 40 again and able to walk. She crumples to the ground and curses at the EMS who come to pick her up. Practice, practice, meditation until the monkey mind stops chattering. What persists of herself besides swearing? Not the woman advertising executive in the 1950s, not the boozing, threatening mother of the 1960s, not the brassy-haired woman who shopped at Neiman's. Not this, not that, said the Buddha. She calls the knell of the clock over and over, ringing it out like a tower. She has a flash now and then that her children don't love her as they love their father. Live in the now, lose yourself, says the Enlightenment coach. Ah, but she never loses herself in the present. It's clear that's key. My doctor and I speculate on her disorder. Narcissistic with venom, I suggest. He laughs and says it's bipolar too, like me. Physicists say space-time may spread so thin in the old universe that it will dissipate entirely unless dark matter pulls it together after there's nothing left in time or imagination of you and yours, not even ashes. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Robin. Do you have anything you'd like to promote today?
Oh no, I have my old books. My book Flow is still available. It won an award, Southwest Book of the Year. And I'll have some new books coming out. I was gonna bring out my book Drive, but then the opening poem got accepted by the Texas Poetry Calendar. So now I have to wait on that because the Texas Poetry Calendar is about a year and a half behind. So get a copy of the Texas Poetry Calendar.
All right on. Thank you. Thank you very much, Robin.
Thank you.
As always, appreciate the contribution and your voice. We have we had a little chat here on the live stream on about voices. Keep your, especially in these times, make sure that uh, you're sharing what you need to say. Have your voices be loud. Um, what else? Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll just keep going. We're gonna go keep the literary trend going. Keep it going with the poetry and the literary voices. Next up, we have our very own BWAM's Terminator. Amit Ghosh is in the house. He's gonna share a little something. Are you with us, Amit? Let's see. Let's get you on the chat here.
Yes, I am.
Cool. Welcome, man. Good to have you on. Glad you joined us today.
Thank you. This computer is temperamental, so today it's connecting. That's a good thing. So anyway, thanks for having me. Thanks for keeping this going for duration of the COVID, and I think people are grateful that you have the energy to keep up with the activism and the poetry and all that creativity. And I'd like to mention two things before I start. One is the Border Census organization that we are part of, and also right now things are kind of quiet on that front, but we also have started a project called Life in the Time, and we are collecting stories and creative inputs to sell it, to recognize this period or document this period, maybe is a better way to say it. And the website, I'm going to put it in the chat here. Some of you know it already, but in case there is somebody new here, please feel free to, Richie and I are kind of the two folks running it. So feel free to go to the website, check it out, contribute, and be part of the conversation. Okay. All right. So I've been thinking what to read, and I went through some changes, but I'm going to, given what's going on right now, I'm going to read some almost stream of consciousness thoughts on what's happening in the last 2 weeks in the US, and obviously triggered here, but now a worldwide movement. I've lived in this country 35 years now. I came here after undergrad in 1984 December, and I came to the deep south. I came to Mississippi first. So and unfortunately those places have not changed a lot, sadly enough. But it was wrong to assume, or is wrong to assume, that problems are not everywhere, as it has now showed up in Minnesota of all places. But maybe something good will come out of this. We don't know. But I think that's why people are so eager to try and push the legislators and the policy folks to make real changes. So here are some thoughts on this. Okay, that this is not really a well-written piece. It's more like some ideas thrown in there. 5:25:20 min mn 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I can't breathe. That has happened before. We talk about doers and followers. That's how we divide people. But now there is another category, and that's called triggers. If MLK was a doer and everybody was a follower, George Floyd is a trigger. George Floyd will be remembered for what he stood for, which we don't know what he stood for. But the fact is, he started a movement. I go back to my childhood when I used to listen to Pink Floyd, a song called We Don't Need No Education. Remember that song? And what education have we received since that song came out in 1979, almost 40 years ago? or even before that. Sometimes I wonder why we don't teach math by using years and places. Most Americans hate math, and most Americans don't know geography. That's a fact. Why don't we mix the two? Like 401 years, like 165 years, or 55 years since the Civil War ended, or 55 years since the civil rights laws were passed, or even 20 or 10 years when you heard of these things often, but now it's happening far too often. And you got to thank technology for that. Camera phones, Facebook, Instagram. We've heard of all these names before. Rodney King, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Terran Rice, Eric Garner, Ahmaud Ashbury, Breonna Taylor, and now George Floyd, sorry. The question is, why now? The question is, why are people so interested in getting involved, not here, but as far away as places as New Zealand, where they are having protests? In fact, one thing that's very interesting is that in England, they're having protests now. And in the city of Bristol, they have taken a statue of a slave trader named Colton and thrown him into the river. And the interesting part of the story is the Home Minister of England right now is somebody who's of Indian British background. Her family moved to England in the 50s, and now she's the Home Minister of England, like Pompeo here, kind of character, Priti Patel, and her job is to now defend why that statue should not have been thrown in the water because it's a British property. While her family was being ruled by the British, just like my family was being ruled by the British till 1947. So the life is kind of very weirdly interconnected, intertwined, and maybe the time has come to look at it and see what changes we can really make, because changes have not really happened. Always find interesting the top reasons police give why they shoot somebody. The reasons are, he's a troublemaker, he's a criminal, he was aggressive, he went for my gun, I feared for my life. These are the usual reasons why police kill somebody and then they're let go. But maybe the let go part will not happen that easily anymore. So we'll have to see where this all goes. But I think we're all hoping that some real change happens. On a last note, I'll say that I have a client who's a doctor. I have a computer business. So my client is a doctor who came here from New Orleans during the Katrina thing. He's a Black gentleman. And I went to his office Friday and we were discussing this. And he told me something very interesting, which I would have never thought that he would tell me. He said he went to Dallas to meet a friend, one of his friends from medical school, a white guy, who bought a Maserati. And the Maserati owner said, "Let me take you and show you how fast this car can go." And Dr. Baptiste said, "Please don't do that. If they stop you, you'll be in the car and I'll be in jail." And that's a very sad story. That a gentleman who's a respectable person, he's a physician, and yet he's afraid of his life for something he's not even going to do. He's going to be a passenger, but he's afraid the cops are going to go after him instead of the fellow who did the violation. So I hope things change. I'm hopeful. I hope everybody is. And the next piece I will read. So I'm done with that. It's just a stream of consciousness blabbering. But this is just following Richie's lead. Kit's lead, of reading a cover poem This is from Sonia Sanchez. Shake Loose My Skin. That's the name of the book. Okay. I'll read this poem called Malcolm. And I know who Malcolm is, right? Do not speak to me of martyrdom, of men who die to be remembered on some parish day. I don't believe in dying, though I too shall die, and violets like castanets will echo me. Yet this man, this dreamer, thick-lipped with words, will never speak again. And in each winter, when the cold air cracks with frost, I will breathe his breath and mourn my gun-filled nights. He was a sun that tagged the western sky and melted tigers' collars while they searched for stripes. He said, "Fuck you, white man, we have been curled too long. Nothing is sacred now, not your white face, nor any land that separates until some voices squat with spasms. Do not speak to me of living. Life is obscene with crowds of white on black. Death is my pulse. What might have been is not for him or me. What could have been floods the womb until I drown." Thank you.
Awesome,
Thank you,
man.
guys.
Amit coming hard, man. Love that poem. And of course, just a reminder that this is being live streamed on YouTube. And shout out to everyone who has been watching and participating as part of that. And of course, it's not only live streamed to YouTube, but once that is done, it is archived, so we can go back and listen to what everyone has shared tonight. I think that's kind of a cool function of these online open mics. And I want to thank Kit as well for kind of helping me have timestamps for the last episode. Appreciate his editorial voice as well on that regard. And that in that sense, we have a couple more performers left. If anyone in the chat does want to join, now the time would try and get to try and get on that. But right now, we're gonna go ahead and get some music. We have Bruce Taylor with us. Bruce is a good friend. We go way back, almost a decade back. He's a regular of the Echoes in the Park, and you could catch him busking downtown at the farmers market back in the day. Bruce, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Richie?
It's good. I'm great. It's good to have you on, man. I'm glad
Good
you
to
found
see
your
you
way
again.
towards us.
Good to see you again, man. So it's I got 2 songs here.
Yeah, man. Do your thing.
All right. Here's an oldie now. I'm sure Richie will remember it. That one I still have a title for. An old instrumental I did way back in the day. Right now, I want to dedicate a song. Doing a cover. An artist I never do a cover of because I'm not a fan. Barry Manilow. It's going out to my sister, Jean Elizabeth Taylor, who I lost on May the 4th because of COVID-19. And she was a great fan of this song. And this song really, I can't help but think of her when I hear it. And here it is. No, I can't find you. Can't find you. Can't let it find it hard to anything. You said you're sad. You said you. I'm going to. I can't find you. Came along, I get along, right back here. Like you be out on me, like you do it. You know I can't find you. Can't find you. Can't laugh, I can't sing. Find it hard to anything. I stand. Feel bad. You, I'm going through. I just can't find. That's what people say. Having it take so long to try. I'm finding hard, leaving the far behind. No, I can't find you. Can't find you. Can't let, can't see. Find it hard to do anything. You stand, you're glad, you only do what I go through. I just smile without you.
Awesome. Bruce, I missed you, man.
I
Missed
miss
hearing
you too, Rich.
your guitar in public. I know you would go out and perform and busk downtown a lot and oftentimes at the farmers market. Have you been able to
Yeah.
do any of that at all during this time?
No,
Or
nope.
yeah,
I've been just playing at home.
yeah, good, good. You know, you kind of have to. And I'm sorry about the loss of your sister, man. I know it's tough to lose family. So sending love your way, man.
Thank you.
Okay, cool, man.
Peace, bro.
Yeah, you know, Bruce gets down, as I always said at the open mics. Bruce is on the loose, and it's good to have you on. Please, you know, please join us. For now, for the time being, we're going to be doing these on Mondays. I kind of chose Mondays because I don't know, it just seemed like a day where nothing was really doing anything. Uh, but I actually do have a survey out right now that I'm trying to gauge people's interests and maybe other nights, other days or times, and see if maybe something might be more efficient to try. Um, so I'm gonna put it in the chat. I also put it on the live stream chat. But let us know what you think about Monday nights at this time, or let us know how these have been going so far. How can we make this better for you? How can we maybe, you know, what? How can we improve? I mean, you can also let us know how what we've done well, but ultimately I'm trying to figure out how to, as we move forward, how can we make this a better experience for you guys, for performers, for the audience. Maybe we can live stream to Facebook. Any suggestion is welcome. And I'm gonna send the link, like I said, fill it out. I'm also flirting with the idea of maybe doing another show, kind of like a live stream on Instagram. That's going to be a different kind of show. I'll talk about that later. But for now, I'll send you the link. And if you guys can, anything helps to filling out that survey. But I'll go ahead and continue. Our next performer, I think, is chomping at the bits. We have Dan the Man. I told in the chat, I'm trying to like control things in the chat, but it totally slipped my mind. I know I told him that he was next. So we do have comedy from Brittany, but before that, we're gonna go ahead and bring up Dan the Man, and he's gonna share a little bit. So go and welcome Dan to the stage, guys.
Thank you, Richie. No, yeah, yeah, I thought I was next, but then I thought, what? Hey, wait a minute. Okay. But anyway, Bruce Taylor, my sympathies, my friend. I'm sorry. And Adrian, that was outstanding, man. Keep it up. Hey, we gotta do a special edition. Just DM me. Okay.
Definitely, man. Thank you so much. It's awesome.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, and guys, I just want to let you know I just recently uploaded the scenes of my poetry slam from a week ago. It's involving Black Lives Matter. So I'll send the link. I'll send the link in the chat. You guys check it out. And since today is Monday, and we know it's June 8th, today is National Best Friends Day, and yeah, I guess you guys saw that on my Instagram and my Facebook. Yeah, yeah. And recently I had 16 so far, but I wanna say this one. You guys gonna like this one? I kind of what the hell? Anyway, all right. And now I call it National Best Friends Day so far. No, here it is. Best friend number one, Catherine, who I always call her Buddy, and she was my princess lady in waiting during prom, but she's also an a mate now married. Who I remember seeing her tie the knot, and with two wonderful kids. And I won't call her Buddy still, but she's a matriarch. I call it like the matriarch of best friends, but I call her a matriarch, but she's a matriarch. And also my secondary best friend number two, Heather. Two lovely daughters, and also a dedicated teacher as well. Yep. Uh, best friend number three, well, BFF, Courtney. Um, she's also a fitness trainer as well, and an UNA graduate, and especially she sometimes call me Daniel the Manual. Get it? All right. Chris, best friend number four, Chris, who everybody calls him the dog, which I used to call him dog. He calls me brother. Well, yeah, he enjoys the nightlife. Kelly, best friend number five, Kelly. I used to call her Kelly Bell, but she's now a wife and a mom of three, now living in Kentucky. Uh, stay stay safe, Kelly. And best friend number six, Karina. Well, now a mom of three, and and she's also my prom date. That's right. Yeah. Uh, best friend number seven, Anoop, who I call her Scoop. She's UTEP soccer number six. Now a mom of two. Now a husband. Sorry. Now a wife and a mom of two. Yeah. And and best friend number eight, Sarah, who was a divorced, then a widowed, now a mom, and remarried. But she's also the teacher's daughter, following the footsteps of her mom. Aye. And best friend number nine, Selena. She's also known as Glamour Girl. But she's also a mom of two. Yeah. Best friend number 10, Richard, who I call him Richard the Boggs. Well, I sometimes call him Richie Rich, but also his brothers like Robert the Boggs, Nick the Boggs, or Jacob the Boggs. But now a dedicated husband and a father of a baby girl. Best friend number 11, Matt Matt Rodarte, who I call him the road man, who sometimes travels a lot, but he still constantly goes on the road. But that's why I call him the road man. Best friend number 12, Corey Alvarez. She's sometimes a British, but she's a Mexican bloodline. But she has all she has all these um okay, sorry. And now a mom, also now a mom named Aries. Best friend number 14, Jacka Bird. Um, she managed to make a long road um, ahead towards success. Now also a mom of two. Best friend number 14, Cassie, who I call her Paisan, also also a former bartender. Now assumedly she was supposed to be on the front lines. If she was, I would say I thank her for her service. Best friend number 15, Alahana, who I call her Hannah Mama Care Bear, and I'm still practicing German, but just want to say big congrats, Mama, and the wonderful Mutter to her son Luca. But yeah. Well, and last but not least, number 16, Manfred from Central Florida. Every time I went to Florida to visit my sister, I always talked to Manfred. Not only we're huge wrestling fans for Impact Wrestling, but we do share the same birthday. Okay. Yep. And I know these are all my 16 best friends, and that's why I'm gonna dedicate this as today is National Best Friend Day. So, yep. So happy best friends to all my best friends. So, what do you think, Richie?
Yeah, man, that's cool. I wish I had that many best friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I that's
Yeah.
very
Most of
lucky of you, man.
Mm-hmm. And I want to send my sincere apologies to Val Barriga. Yeah, it was a tough decision. Uh, it was a tough decision, which damn my apologies. Yeah, because I was having trouble between 15 between Hannah and Val, but that's a long story. But okay. But anyway, yeah. Okay, again, I'll have this uploaded as soon as possible, sometime this week. And guys, find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Find the Bands Weekly on YouTube, and yeah, find out on my Facebook page. And also, don't forget, I just uploaded the scenes of my poetry slam from a week ago on Monday. Please check it out. And yes, Black Lives Matter. And George Floyd, may he rest in peace. So, all right, just check out my scenes of my poetry slam I did last week. So I'll leave the link on the chat. Okay. All right. Thank you, Richie. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Peace. Thanks for joining us as always. Took the opportunity during your set to open a bottle of wine. It's that time. Wine time. You know what I'm saying? But
Cheers, Richie.
salute. And as Dan mentioned right now, Black Lives Matter. Absolutely. I think if that makes you uncomfortable, make sure you look deep within yourself why that might be the case. And if anything, just try and listen to what people are trying to say about that. As a as an organization, I say we stand in solidarity, and we've always been a platform for people's voices. It's everyone. So come on by, share your stuff. All right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Richie.
yeah, thanks, Dan. And also, I always mention it, but remember that a poetry slam is a competition. Uh, you know, so just say a poem. It's good, man. And I think
Thank
people always appreciate you show lots of love. So we thank you for that, Dan.
you.
Yeah, Dan the Man's Weekly on YouTube. Check it out. Support the
Mhm.
show. All right, and he's been doing that for years now. Content extraordinaire. All right, so we have a couple more. I actually found some poems that I'm going to read later on in the show to close it up. But before we get there, we have one last comedian here on the list. I don't know if we were able to get Agabar back. That's unfortunate. His stuff, I think people really enjoyed last time. So for now, we're gonna go ahead and bring up the legend of El Barto, aka Two Stoned, aka Brittany, aka Are you still with us? I'm gonna do a quick set, I think. All right, Brittany, Two Stoned, you with us? El Barto, there you are.
Thank you. Thank you. My bad. I had the mic off. Thank you for having me. Shout out to Barbed Wire. You guys always have my back. So the protests, they've been really crazy. You guys want to protest? I encourage it. Peaceful protests, definitely. But I just want to come out and say Donald Trump doesn't care about Black people. Donald Trump doesn't care about Latinos. And yes, we all know this, but this is my Kanye moment. I feel like this is my Kanye moment to get up and say that. Yeah. So, peaceful protests, peaceful protests. The good news is if you're over 60, you can loot between 7 a.m. and 8. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Somebody was going live from their phone and they're like, I'm in Gotham City. That was really freaking crazy. That was really crazy. I don't know, some people have been on the roll. It's been really sweaty out there. Anyway. Somewhere out in the city, they're riding around, not going to the protests, just riding around, smoking a swisher. The other day, I spilled weed all over the floor. And I was like, do not move. I have to secure a perimeter around the crime scene. And I don't care what your opinion of marijuana is. That's still a crime scene. Spilling weed is very wasteful. Yes. I bought my nephew some Skechers the other day, and he came and, pounced all over my feet while I was wearing sandals. And then he ran away, and he was like, "Don't ask me to light up your world." And, the little Skechers on the bottom, they're all lighting up all cute. Somebody tweeted, or my friend tweeted the other day, that Reno City Hall was on fire. That's the real Reno 911. Yes, yes. And I was glad. I was like happy. I was happy that summer was here. I thought I was going to enjoy it, but no, no, no. How many of you are enjoying your summer now that summer has officially started, after Memorial Day? It's summer. There's always next year, right? And the year after that. Woo! All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm Alberto. Follow me on Facebook, yo. Follow me on Facebook. Definitely Alberto. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, Barbed Wire. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Peace. Brittany Alberto on Facebook. You can find her tags all over the Simpsons episodes, of course, and the extended universe. That's interesting. Last couple performances have started some interesting chats. First of all, yeah, if you're gonna have a Kanye moment, definitely prefer that kind of moment, right? I think Kit and I were both concerned about the whole interrupting thing, right? Like, Dan, I'm gonna stop you for a second. You had a good performance, but I just wanted to say that, but obviously it didn't go that way. So thank you. And also, we're having an interesting conversation about friendship. And this is all in the Zoom chat, by the way. If you guys ever want to be just part of our Zoom chat session, I encourage it. The very first time we did this, I didn't go live on YouTube. I just didn't think about it at the time. But I like YouTube because if you just want to watch, that's there. But if you want to watch and be part of like the chat with all the performers, I think having a virtual audience would be a cool idea. As part of the virtual audience, you would just be muted, and then you could unmute yourself to clap and cheer. But I did it mostly to kind of limit participants on the chat. You would just need to use Zoom. So thank you, Brittany. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you now because it sounds like you went outside in the wind and stuff. And yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. If you haven't already, please check out our social media, Barbed Wire Open Mic Series on Facebook. And if you're about it, if you like what we're doing, we've been doing this since 2007. I didn't start it. I'm the current project director of this whole thing. I started helping out around 2012. But before me, and I want to give a shout out, as always, to the people who came before me and in anything. But in this case, in this project, Roberto Santos, one of my really good friends. Honestly, I don't know if I would be the same person I am without meeting him and him kind of inspiring me to feel free and just kind of explore my more critical self, my inner thoughts, and how to turn that into creative energy. This guy is like the best host ever, and he really inspired me and influenced me to want to be a host as well. And of course, he has his MFA from UTEP. He's a professor right now at EPCC, but he's doing a really cool project that I want to highlight and point you guys towards. It's called Rap Seminar. So using his knowledge of just pretty much his love for hip hop and rap, but also his getting his MFA, there's definitely a lot of literary techniques used in lyricism, in rap lyrics. And so he has a whole project called Rap Seminar where he analyzes, right? It's a qualitative rap analysis. So he'll look at the amount of rhymes in your song if you submit it to him. Check it out. It's a really cool project. Much love to Rob. He's also, I think, started doing artist interviews and putting people on the platform, on the highlight. And that's something he's always been really good at. And I just want to give love to him because, like I said, I started helping him out, and I could have never predicted taking over the open mic and being as involved as I am with it. But I've been able to do it for so long because of people like him, because of all of you guys, the people who performed, anyone who's performed on the stage. I all consider it to be the most meaningful work I can do in terms of just letting people share their voice. And if it wasn't me, it would have been someone else. But I love it. I love being here. I love this platform. And also, of course, going back, Rob he's considered one of the co-founders. But also, I want to give a shout out to when we talk about the starting of this whole thing, it was started in 2007 by Veronica Guajardo and Trent Hudley, and it was part of the UTEP MFA program. So it is literary based, and that's why I always encourage writers to come by, do your thing. We want to hear you, even if you're shy. If you're shy, we'll probably welcome you like louder. That's a weird way to say it, but just with open arms. And if anything, I'm gonna go ahead and end. I found a couple of poems, things that I want to highlight here. First is I also run a couple different podcasts. That's right, all sorts of different platforms. And so to shout out those podcasts or to kind of promote them, one that I do is very obvious, is based around the Barbed Wire Open Mic series, BWOMs. In 2000, oh god, yeah, we had our we're over 10 years now and that we've been around. And so to celebrate, I decided that to expand the platform, we would go online. And so I started a podcast called the BWOMs Podcast. You can find it on Facebook, the page at least, and you can also listen to it on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, pretty much any major platform. Just type in BWOMs Podcast. And what it is, it's artist interviews and an artist showcase. And so each episode I have someone come in, a writer, a musician, a filmmaker, maybe an actor, and we talk about their art and maybe they perform a little bit. It's all audio based. Check that out. We're about 40 episodes in. During this pandemic, I also transformed it or pivoted a little bit, and I turned it into a radio show. And so the radio show is called Spacious Solidarity. I like the idea of spacious solidarity as opposed to social distancing. Social distancing sounds so sad, but spacious solidarity, we're all in this together. It's not about the individual, but how can we collectively take care of one of another. So Spacious Solidarity is a radio showcase where I feature musicians, poets, writers, anyone who has with an audio medium, and I put it on there and kind of run it like an open mic. I MC and then introduce the performer, and then I have the audio clip. And so episode 1 is out. Volume 2 has been in the works for quite a while now. I've had some setbacks for personal reasons, but I do plan on getting that out pretty soon. But if you guys want to submit your work to our email, bwoms 915 at gmail.com. That is our email address. You can upload audio and episode, maybe we'll get you featured in episode 3. If you want to know more, just message us. Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. Again, check out all the platforms that we have available. Message us. What else? I'm also on a podcast called Literally Literary with my colleague Jorge Gomez and the passionate Vanessa Zuniga. She's a literature student, very passionate about what she's doing and promoting the literary arts. And so it's a podcast where every month we feature a different author. We read a book and break it down into episodes where we just discuss. It's like a book club, pretty much, right? In podcast form. Last month we read this book, We Cast a Shadow by Maurice Carlos Ruffin. He's a writer out of New Orleans. I found this to be in dialogue with classics like Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. And it's an interesting premise, and I think it is very timely. It has to do with well, I don't want to spoil too much, but I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. This month, we're actually bringing it to a local author, one of my good friends, someone who has been a featured performer at BWAMs, and it is our friend Gris Munoz. She has a book out called Coatle Cuegro. Gris Munoz. I've talked about it on this show before. This is it. We're talking about that right now on Literally Literary. We're going to record our first episode pretty soon, but I do have a poem that I'd like to read from it, and then maybe a couple more to end out the show. And while I'm reading, if by any chance somebody wants to join in from the chat or whatever, please, we encourage it. So this is I like this book. It's bilingual, right? It's about, it's about growing up on the borderland. So it's in English, it's in Spanish, it's fluid between both languages. It's also short stories and poems. Definitely worth the read. You guys should pick it up. It is from Flower Song Press. And there's this poem here that I think is kind of interesting. It's called Mercy. We seek mercy and not grace. Grace, we don't know it. Tell me, hold it in your palm, rub its mouth truth. Mercy, being held down but held. Mercy, mercy but not grace. Your mouth won't give it. And always my eyes that perceive too well the spirits in the room that gather and collapse, seeking mercy, mercy but not grace. It's one little piece here, and I do have to say that the short stories here are remarkable. There's some that I really identify with and root for and just learn a lot from. All right, I'm gonna do a couple more cover poems today. One is okay, so these are from another collection that I picked up recently. This is an anthology, a very important anthology. If you guys, it's very important that we read contemporary authors, contemporary writers. And so this is an anthology called Latin Next. Okay, so there's the cover. I think it's a very nice cover. It's the Breakbeat Poets, Volume 4, Latin Next. And this thing is a thick book. It is filled with so many well-known authors and also just up-and-coming authors. So I encourage you to check this out. This is from Haymarket Press, Haymarket Books. That's another thing I want to say during these times. Support our independent bookstores, independent presses. Show them love. I think last week we talked a little bit about Chismosa Press. Much love to them. Of course, in El Paso, we also have Cinco Puntos Press, run by the Birds. Also, Barrio Panther is another press and publication worth checking out, guys. So this is one of the pieces in here. There's so many. I haven't had a chance to read them all yet. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, this is from the author Javier Zamora. It's called Dancing in Buses. Pretend a boombox blasts over your shoulder. Raise your hands in the air, twist them as if picking limes. Look to the right as if crossing streets. Look to the left slowly as if balancing orange baskets. Bend as if picking cotton. Do the rump. Straighten up as if dropping firewood. Rake, do the rake. Sweep, do the sweep. Do the papusa, clap. Finger dough clumps, clap. Do the horchata, scoop. Your hands a ladle, scoop. Reach and scoop. Now duck. They're shooting. Duck under the seat and don't breathe. Hands behind your head. Drop down. Look at the ground. Roll over. Face the mouth of the barrel. Do the protect face with hands. Don't scream. So I felt that was pretty heavy, but also maybe kind of worth the times. Check out the collection, Latin Next. Pretty nice wordplay on that as well. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today then, guys. Man, lots of great stuff. We'll be back next Monday. I do want to remind you once again, if you have an opportunity, please take our survey to let us know how, or just give us some feedback on these online open mics. If you've liked them, that's great. We'd love to hear that. If there's anything we can do to improve, maybe change the time a little bit, maybe a better day, That is an option as well. And also you can give us feedback on, a possible new show I want to start, and just anything in general. Just give us your thoughts. That's how we do it. I can't really change anything unless I know what you guys are thinking. So please help me out in that regard. But I guess today, for the Barbed Wire Open Mic series, I want to thank you for tuning in. My name is Richie Marrufo, your host, project director of this thing. And you can follow me on Instagram at Dead Wall Reveries. That's right, Dead Wall Reveries. It is a literary reference. If you guys can hit me up and message me, it is a literary reference. So if you know where that is, shoot me a message and let me know. I've yet to have anybody. Well, I've had a couple people figure it out. It's a little more obscure, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let's see. So that's it for everyone. Does anyone want to say bye on our chat here before we sign off?
See you guys next Monday. Definitely looking forward.
All right. All right. Cool. Dan? I think I have some people on there. Yeah.
Shout out to Leslie in Pittsburgh, who's watched this whole thing in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah, Leslie, appreciate that. Thank you. I know it's a little bit later, but we thank you. And we'll be back next Monday, guys. Thanks for tuning in for Richie, Barbed Wire Open Mic series. Stay at home open mic. See you next time. Peace.